Thank you very much for coming or listening online. My name is Chun Cao, and I'm an engineer at Google. Today I'm very honored to introduce my teacher, Chan Master YongHua. Born in South Vietnam, Master YongHua received a BS from the University of Minnesota and an MBA from University of Chicago. After working in corporate management in 1995, he left the corporate life to become a monk and studying with the Great Chan Master XuanHua. In 2005, after 10 years of meditation training and over 3 years of solitary retreat, he became teaching. He is currently the abbot of Blue Mountain Temple in Southern California. For the last 11 years, he has lectured on Mahayana Buddhism, taught Chan, authored several books, and also is currently appearing on a weekly Vietnamese TV show. I encountered Chan and Master YongHua's teaching 2.5 years ago. After getting exposed to meditation through our own Searching Inside Yourself class, I was looking for ways to establishing a meditation habit to manage the stress for a busy life, for my busy life as a Googler and a new mom. But the breakthrough did not happen until I went to a Chan retreat in Blue Mountain Temple after a friend's recommendation. During the 2 weeks retreat, the 2-week retreat was a very transformative experience for me. I meditated more than 12 hours a day. That's more than I have ever done before, without feeling bored. And then I advanced through a few noticeable stages of progress, experienced great peace and relaxation, and came back feeling much healthier physically and mentally. Ever since then, I have been meditating almost every day, and I see myself become a better person in being more compassionate, less selfish, healthier, and more productive at home and at work. So that's why I believe Chan is a really powerful meditation method, and I would like to bring to Google so that more people can benefit from it. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Chan Master YongHua.
Thank you, Chin. That's quite an introduction. Thank you all for coming. I'm Master YongHua. Yeah, you can call me Master. It's just keep it simple. This is one of my students, Venerable Xian Jie. He's been with me how long now?
About 5 years if you count the whole time.
The whole time, 5 years. Today we'd like to give you an introduction to our form of meditation, the Chan meditation. Ours is really kind of hardcore meditation. The Chan meditation is quite different from the meditation that most of you are used to. Most of you are probably aware of the Hinayana meditation, which is stresses. The teachers stress about mindfulness. You hear the word mindfulness, usually it's Hinayana meditation. Or you hear about practicing metta, loving kindness, loving compassion, or maybe vipassana. That's Hinayana meditation. We are more involved in that. Well, by the way, we're very casual, so feel free to ask questions, express your opinions. Chan meditation is quite different from Tibetan Buddhism. Tibetan Buddhism, by the way, stresses mantras or tantric practices. You recite these mantras as part of the main practice or the prayers. Chan is more hardcore meditation. So, what does it mean to the practitioners? Chan meditation has a wide range of pursuits, from worldly pursuits to transcendental, to all the way to enlightenment. Frankly, personally, I practice Chan to try to become enlightened. And so what it means is that the Chan practitioner will be given a better foundation. You're able to build a better foundation for meditation. And we have a wide range of methods of practice. And therefore, our history of my practice of Chan, my teaching of Chan the last 11 years or so, we have been able to help people get faster results, whether they come from, I have students who came from yoga, from Hinayana meditation, from Zen. Master Xianjie here was a Zen practitioner for 10 years.
About 10 years.
And how did we meet?
We met at the cafeteria, at a Buddhist cafeteria.
At another temple.
At another temple, yeah.
A big temple in Southern California. I'm sure you heard of it, Sea Light Temple. And I was minding my business, eating my lunch, and he came over and said, he started talking to me. I was kind of annoyed because when we eat lunch, we don't talk. We don't open our mouth because we have a precept against that. We have a rule of comportment where when we chew, we don't talk. So I was rather annoyed, but he kept on insisting. So he said, he was on his way to his teacher's meditation temple in a mountain, in a further area, remote area. And he said he was practicing Zen has been practicing Zen for 10 years now. I looked at him and said, how come you practice meditation for so long and yet you really have no concentration power at all? So
the first
Chan
thing that he said to me.
Chan language is very direct. We don't beat around the bush. And that's piqued his interest, I think. And he decided to come and learn more about concentration. Concentration in Chan meditation is we focus on developing concentration power. Concentration is measured by the term called Samadhi power or dhyana. Okay, so Chan meditation is very precise. You measure your progress by your level of concentration. So the higher level concentration, the more advanced you are. This was started. Our style of practice came from China. Chan is a Chinese word, and was brought to China by an Indian monk by the name Bodhidharma. Okay. He's the first Chinese patriarch in Mahayana, and so he founded the Chinese Chan, and he didn't speak much Chinese, and yet he was able to teach meditation to his students. So Chan is a practice that is set beyond words, and it is directly points to the mind. And if you see the mind, you see your nature, you become enlightened. So the objective of meditation, our kind of practice, is to really open our wisdom. All right.
Sorry, would you mind turning up the volume on the? Is that possible?
Yeah, we can. Any louder, it'll start feedback.
Okay.
Try to speak up a little. And then around later, around 8th century or so, the Japanese came to China to study Chan. Because they wanted to further the understanding of Mahayana teachings, and they found that the best way to understand, to penetrate the meaning, the deeper meaning of the teachings, you need to go through Chan. So they came, the Japanese monks came to China and learned Chan for about 3 years. He brought it back to Japan and called it Zen. Okay, so Zen is like a subset of Chan, you ask me. It's hard to really perfect anything at all, to really study well in 3 years' time. Or in our world, PhD takes about 7 to 10 years. Let's face it. So, and then my late master, my late teacher, is a Chinese monk by the name of XuanHua. Have anyone heard of him? He's a what is called a patriarch of Orthodox Buddhism. Buddhism is organized around, Chinese Buddhism is organized around lineages of patriarchs. So for example, the major lineage of Buddhism is originated by Shakyamuni Buddha, and then he designated first patriarch, Venerable Kashyapa, and then second patriarch, and my teacher was the last known patriarch in Buddhism. And the distinctive characteristic of all these patriarchs is that they all are Chan patriarchs as well. They understand Chan, and they thoroughly understand Chan. And so that's where I learned my trade from my teacher. And so our temple is a tiny temple, and we quietly go about practicing our way. I don't know how Xun got to us, we today I brought a few of my students with me, and Chan is able to benefit a wide range of practitioners from very young to very old. Well, some of the students that you notice in these pictures is that our practice is kind of more rigorous than a typical meditation practice. You notice, for example, we sit in full lotus, we call full lotus. We cross our legs, and you try to do that, it hurts like hell. It's very, very painful for most people, these students practice Chan because, see, you have some pictures here of that's Anna right there. She's from Mexico. We have students from various ethnicities. Mexican, Korean. This the third picture of this man right there is a lay person who practiced meditation for over 10 years, and he came to us and he learned Chan, and he got so happy, he got so much healthier that he decided to become a monk. Just like Master Xianjie here, he was a lay person, and he decided that he got so much out of Chan, he wanted to learn more about it. And why is it that you decide to do it full time?
Well, ultimately, I wanted to learn the skills to be able to help others. I've seen a lot of different teachers, and after meeting Master, I encountered some problems in my meditation practice, and then other teachers were not really able to help me. I realized the Master was able to help me a lot better, so that's when I started following his instructions.
Yeah. And so we have also with us Shana. Shana, right there. Shana came to us about 5 years ago, and then we have a young girl right there sitting in full lotus. That's Tex Beaumont next to her, the country seeker. He used to be quite famous in the UK. And then we have students from Portugal. The last picture at the lower row is associate, assistant professor from University of Lisbon. she came and learned meditation from us as well. All right, next slide. The reason I teach Chan all these years is to help people improve. And improvement, as I said earlier, is measured in terms of concentration power. Okay, you practice meditation in order to be able to concentrate, increase your concentration. All right. Next slide, please. So I give you some example, introduce some example of these some of the students. This couple here live in San Diego. They commute to us every single weekend. They've been bouncing around from temple to temples. She's a therapist, has PhD in psychology or something like that, and she's very sensitive with energies. And she came to us, and with her practice, she had back problems, and with the practice, she got better, she got healthier, and actually, it's a funny thing. After about 4 months or so, her samadhi power increased, her level of concentration power increased, and as a result, she looked younger. And her husband is Jim. Jim is a manager, and he also got a lot out of it. His increase in energy, and he's a lot calmer during the day. All right, next one, please. And that's Shana right there. She has her own company, and she came to me. Why you came to us, Shana? You remember?
I was depressed.
She was depressed, and so she came to me, and she said, I want to learn meditation because I'm hoping that meditation will help me fix one big problem in my life. That is, I have a problem getting along with my father, and it hurts me deeply. And so I said, yes, Chan meditation can help you. And so she believed me, and I asked her to get into full lotus. And she doesn't like pain. Okay, and she was highly motivated, and therefore she endured the pain. Okay, and she quickly improved. So after 1 year, she asked me, I want to go back to Korea to visit my parents. I haven't seen them for a few years. I said, no, it's too soon for you. Don't go back. The second year, another year passed, and she said, can I go back now? I said, yes, you can. You may go back. But you may go back but don't stay with them for more than 2 days. And she came back, and of course, as usual, she didn't listen to my instructions. She stayed on the third day, and she called me and said, my father is driving me crazy. I want to kill him or something like that. And the third year, that was about last year, a couple years ago, she said, I really want to go back see my parents. I said, yes, you're ready. And she came back. And what happened, Shana? Could you share with us?
This year?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Well, I'm all good with my father now. Very peaceful now.
So Shana came back, and her father, instead of picking fights with her, he was eating off her hands. And so the point I'm making here is that if you really have needs in your life and you're willing to work hard, and then Chan could be helpful to you. Okay, because we pass on, we would like to pass on that knowledge to help people, okay, to help improve your life, to help you get what you want, whatever it is you want. Chan can be very helpful. Okay? And as a result of what's nice about Shana, I'm very proud of that fact, is that she got a lot out of Chan. And she decided to share it. So she started teaching Chan on her own. She spent her own money, her own time, and to teach people Chan. And it's nice. Do you have more pictures of her? People seem to appreciate it. And it turns out she has more students than I do. I can't figure it out yet. Next slide, please. So, what is how do we teach Chan? We're very conservative. I follow the Chan training that I picked up from my late master, Master XuanHua, whom is from the Weiyang lineage. In Chinese Chan, there are 5 major Chan houses, China lineages. The Weiyang is the first lineage in Chan. And to me personally, I'm probably biased, it's probably the more advanced lineage of Chan. And later disappeared because it's so advanced that people have a hard time following. In a Chan tradition, the Chan patriarch, once they become enlightened, you don't become a patriarch unless you are enlightened. And once you become enlightened, then their responsibility is to pass on that knowledge to the next person. Okay. The next person does not necessarily have to be a monk, can be a lay person. And it happened in our history. In fact, our fifth Chinese patriarch, passed on the knowledge of Chan to the 6th patriarch, very famous 6th patriarch, very well known, and he was a lay person at the time. So Chan does not discriminate. We want to pass on the knowledge to help you get what you want. So in Chan, there is a personal guidance. We guide each individual to become a better person. And once you become a better person, our hope is that the small contribution of Chan is that you bring that knowledge, bring that goodness, and pay it back to the community. I'm personally indebted to this country, to the generosity of the people here. I came here as a foreign student in December 74 from Vietnam. In 75, April 75, my country fell, and I was able to receive assistance from this country to finish my education, and that I'm very grateful. And I feel that the spirit of Chan is the spirit of gratitude. I'm grateful. I'm teaching Chan to express my gratitude to my teacher, Venerable XuanHua, Master XuanHua, and because he gave Chan to me for free. Like all his teachers before, our patriarch taught Chan for free, just for this simple purpose of helping people. And so he taught me Chan, and I appreciate it, and that's why I pass on Chan to whoever wants to learn. Okay, so in order to learn Chan, I found out the last 11 years of teaching is that if you really have some real needs, it's much easier to make progress, much easier to learn Chan. All right? So it's a very personal relationship in the Chan training between the teacher and the students. It's not words. you practice meditation, the increase in concentration will result in increase in qi, okay, the life force within your body. The qi is a life force that circulates throughout your body through energy channels like meridians, as the acupuncturists or the Taoists call it. And so with its qi, increase in qi flow, you're able to unblock the energy blockages throughout your body. So for example, if you folks use your brains a lot during the day, okay, so what it means is that you pull up a lot of your blood to your brains, where it needs the nutrients for you to function. And so what it does is that when you pull all the blood, meaning your qi rises to your head, then the rest of your body, the blood is not as strong. The qi flow is not as strong, okay? And therefore, you tend to develop blockages of qi in your body. So if you meditate, you don't need to do chant. You can do Zen, you can do any form of meditation. The meditation is a process where you slow down your mental processes. You stop thinking, in other words. And when you do that, okay, then you are no longer making demands on your qi in your body. And therefore, it goes back to its normal circulation throughout your body. And that's why meditation, any form of meditation, will help you become healthier and restore balance, physically and mentally. Now, what's the difference in Chan is that Chan is specifically, the way we teach Chan is to help you improve your concentration. Increase in concentration since it increases in qi. Okay? When the qi flows more strongly, more vigorously throughout your body, okay, it will unblock the energy blockages throughout your system. Okay? For example, when you think excessively, okay, you will have qi blockages up here in your brains. Okay, so after a while, if you use your brains excessively, your mental processes excessively, then at some point in time, your mind is slower. You can't think anymore. So that's a sign right there that you have blockages of energy. Okay, so that's when you need. That's when it's a good time for you to stop, take a break, get up, go get a candy bar, a cup of coffee, or something. Take a walk around the campus, or even better yet, if you have some drilled meditation skills, all you have to do is cross your legs or meditate for a few minutes, and you restore your balance. All right. So if you practice meditation and improve your increase your meditation skills, it means that in meditation, any form of meditation, you measure those meditation skills by your concentration, your ability to focus in a sustained fashion. Okay, and so if you develop that concentration ability, okay, the stronger your concentration, the higher your level of concentration, the higher your concentration power, the higher level of samadhi power. Okay, the higher samadhi power is associated with a higher level of qi flow throughout your body. And again, the qi flow, stronger qi flow, will unblock energy blockages throughout your body, will make you healthier. Okay. Furthermore, let's say that you go from one samadhi level to the next samadhi level, meaning that your qi flow is a lot stronger than before. All right? Meaning that the qi flows, it rises from your navel. It rises up in this major artery of qi, of energy, in your body. It rises up as you start meditating. And this area is called the dandian, like your battery. And the longer you meditate, okay, your energy builds up here. As it builds up, it naturally rises. It rises like this. So it clears up. First thing, it clears up your stomach problems, issues you might have. Heartburns, very easy. Cross your legs. In fact, I met with a medical researcher at Cal State Long Beach, and she says that she researched on the posture meditation, and they found out that if people sit in full lotus with both legs crossed, okay, it increases their digestive system, improves the digestive system. Okay, so those of you who have ulcers, because people develop ulcers because you worry too much. One very good form to help restore your health is to meditate. Will help your ulcers heal a lot faster. All right. So first it will heal your stomach issues, and then it rises, it keeps on rising. Will heal your lung issues. Okay, asthma, or people who smoke, you definitely need to meditate. All right, and then it rises, help your voice box. Okay, and finally it rises to the top of your head. This is the peak. Okay, and what it does is that if you have increase in samadhi power, this chi rises. This chi is a lot stronger. It turns out. And I hope that someday the medical researchers will be able to document that. It turns out that with the increase in samadhi power, concentration power, I believe eventually scientifically, people will be able to show that you have more, how do you say that? The connectors, more connections in your gray matters. So you open these channels of energy. Okay, that's why your mind is faster. Okay, and you're able to see clearer. Any questions about it? I know I'm going out a little bit on a limb, so but hopefully this is a hint that I know. I hope that medical researchers will take a stab at it and be able to document the fact that with the people who have better meditation skills, actually the brain should be heavier and should have more active gray areas in a gray matter. All right. Yes.
I like measurement, and I was wondering if you could say more about how you measure your ability to concentrate.
Absolutely. That's a good question. Thank you for the question. The question is, how do you measure the concentration power? The concentration power is measured in meditation. Any form of meditation is by samadhi level. Can we go to the next slide, please? Is there a next slide? Okay. From the Buddhist teaching, this is Buddhist. Okay. From Buddhist teaching, we live in our world. Our world consists of three realms, if you will: desire realm, form realm, and formless realm. Okay. Where we live is called desire realm. Desire realm is characterized by a lot of desires. We want nice cars, we want a good job, we want recognition, we want to be loved. Okay, all those are desires. Okay, and when our desires are met, we're happy. Right? In this desire realm, from the Chan perspective, there's no concentration power. People who live in the desire realm are called scattered. They have zero samadhi level. So far, so good? when you learn to meditate, a lot of people I know would meditate for a long, long time. They feel good, they feel happy, they feel relaxed. Okay, it reduces their stress. But they cannot go to the next level of concentration power called first dhyana. Okay, so that's why. So at the first dhyana to fourth dhyana, you belong to the form realm. So you transcend. That's why the non-Buddhist meditation techniques that you heard of something called Transcendental Meditation. Have you? Okay. Transcendental meditation, all it means is that you transcend the realms you're in. So from our jargon, you transcend the desire realm. You move to a higher realm, like the form realm or the formless realm. All right. So what happens when you move from the desire realm to the form realm? Okay, you move from zero concentration, zero samadhi to first dhyana. Okay, what happens is that you are able to concentrate in a more sustained fashion, longer than before. All right, your chi level increases. You have more energy than before. All right, you're able to work longer, and for example, when you go to the first dhyana, you are able to reduce 3 desires. Okay, those people who make from zero samadhi to the first dhyana or first samadhi level, they have less desire for food. You remember? For food. Okay? Easier to lose weight. They have less desire for what? Master Xianqian?
Sleep.
Sleep. Okay. And then finally, what else?
Have sex. Yeah.
Who said that? You said, can we share that? No? So mentally, your mental makeup is yes, you still have desire for food. Yeah, yes, you still want to sleep. Yes, you still want to have sex. Okay? But it's not as overpowering as before. So that's first dhyana. All right? So as you get to next level, second dhyana, third dhyana, fourth dhyana, you're at the peak of the desire realm. The form realm. Then from the fourth dhyana to the next level is called fifth samadhi. That's why you distinguish them by dhyana versus samadhi. Dhyana is still in the form realm. Samadhi is in the formless realm. Okay, so you go from fifth to sixth to seventh and eighth. Eighth is the top of our world. Okay. I'm sure that some of you are probably aware of the people in the eighth samadhi. You go to an ashram in India and see these people as you walk on these temples and these ashrams, and you see these gentlemen who sat there on the side and with hair around the head, right? And then the head like that. That's because they are they have so few attachments. All right? So, it's a long answer to your question. Basically, if you practice meditation, the experienced teachers will be able to guide you and help you improve from zero samadhi to first dhyana, to second dhyana, third dhyana, fourth dhyana, and so on. So the reason, for example, why I told Shana back there that the first year you can't go back to your dad yet, because she says, my father, whenever I get into a fight with him, it hurts. I told her, I'm sure she doesn't remember. She said, and I said, if you still hurt when you fight with him, then you cannot control yourself, and you cannot help him. So you can't go back yet. So second year she got to second dhyana, and so she still talked to her dad on the phone. He says, I can last for about 15 minutes, and then I go crazy. We both yell at each other. I said, then that's why you can't go back there. Okay? Because if you really want to connect with your father, you have to get to the point where he used to hurting you. And if you still feel hurt by that, you cannot connect with him. You lose your composure. Okay? So the third year she got through third dhyana. Okay, third dhyana, she's stronger than her dad already. So that's why I told her that she could go back to Korea and do as she wished. And that's what happened. So what happened between her and her dad is that I told her year number 2, but she didn't believe me. I said, your dad is, I admire your dad because he loves you dearly. And she said she started fighting with her dad since she was 6 or 7. I said, you don't understand him. Okay. Can I finish this and I get back to your question? He's tough on you because he wants to make sure that no other man can hurt you. And after she came back to Korea in the third year, and dad realized she could no longer hurt her feelings, make her feel bad, and he admitted to her that he doesn't have to be mean to her anymore. It was an act. Yes?
Is all desire bad, and isn't loss of desire often associated with depression?
Oh, does it lead to depression? Where is Yinran? I have a nun back there who's sleeping right now. She's dozing off. I think we enjoy your lunch so much, and thank you for having such a nice lunch. She's not depressed. So the loss of desire or your desire not being met does not necessarily mean you're depressed. Depression has a different reason. It's a lot more involved than I have time to go into today. It's depression in short. Depression is a lot more prevalent than you think. It's first of all, it is very contagious. You remember the expression? You make me feel so depressed. You are hit. You're affected already. Okay, so it's very contagious. It's a mental illness that is, to me personally, even more dangerous than cancer because it's a lot more contagious. You spread it to the people closer to you. Okay, so it's very, very, very spread by wildfire, and people are not aware of it. Okay, and there's no real cure for it. You take Prozac, you take all these medication, all it does is compresses your mind so that you cannot go beyond this range. Okay? You don't feel too bad, you don't feel too good either. Okay? But it doesn't fix the real problem. Okay? So it really has nothing to do with doesn't have much to do with depression. But what's the reason? Why do you ask about the loss of desire or your desire not being met? Is there a reason for it?
I was generally curious about desire because, I didn't think that all desire is a bad thing, and I'm also curious about your personal experience. You mentioned that you'd gone to University of Minnesota, and then you'd gone to business school and lived the corporate life. And I'm actually curious about your experience kind of through these different realms and, seeing diminished desire. And I'm curious if you actually think about, life before becoming a monk and an abbot, whether you miss that, whether you miss having desires, which is something that I'm sure a lot of people in this room have.
Although I still have desires. We are living a desire realm. And you don't think that you practice meditation, all of a sudden you have no more desires. That's baloney. As long as we live in desire realm, we all are in desire realm, we have desires. I'd like to have a red Ferrari one of these days. I keep on telling that tell my students that for 11 years, and they still have not given me doesn't mean my desire is any less. The desire, as you practice meditation, let me put it in a term that's more relevant to you. My life is quite different from yours. In your practice, you practice meditation, as you say, you go from zero dhyana to zero samadhi, the first dhyana. You have less desire, right? And your life will change. But it only means, by the way, that you have less desire when you are in first dhyana. When you're out of first dhyana, you have desires. Does it make sense?
So do you miss having desires? Do you miss desiring food? And do you miss desiring power? Do you miss desiring sex?
No, I don't. I still enjoy food. I still enjoy power. I still enjoy punishing and giving my students a hard time. I still enjoy things. I enjoyed the lunch today. I enjoy coming here and meeting with you. It's fun for me because the first time I'm able to come to a place of where people have the brain power, and so it's my fun to be here. So it's not what you think. When it comes to desires, it's a personal choice. Okay, so to be blunt, the sexual desire or desire for food, and those desires are good, are desirable in the desire realm. Once you go into the higher realms, when you have better concentration, with better concentration, now you have a choice. Do I stay in desire realm and connect with people, connect with my wife, connect with my son, connect with my friends, okay? And go have a drink, go have a steak, okay? That you are in the desire realm. You're still there. You choose to enjoy those things. And then you can choose for a time when you meditate and you say, I want to transcend this and go to bring my consciousness to a higher level, okay? And free myself from all those things. And what will you get? You get something called peace and bliss. So a different form of pleasure. The pleasure in desire realm is the sensory pleasures, meaning that you enjoy these flavors, this fragrance, this sound of sweet words, or this beautiful classical music. Okay, those are desire, the pleasures that are based on your senses, your sense organs. When you go into a dhyana or the concentration, higher concentration level, your higher level consciousness, you will be able to mentally as well physically enjoy a different kind of desire. It's called peace. Your mind is more peaceful and it feels more blissful. Okay, you feel lighter. This is a lighter happiness that's quite different from the sensual pleasures. At the lower levels, the first dhyana to fourth dhyana to fifth samadhi to lower levels, you won't be able to really understand the finer subtleties of these peace and bliss. But at much higher level, beyond 8th samadhi, I teach my students to reach 9th level samadhi and higher. This peace and bliss will be so much better, you ask me personally, than sensual pleasures. Yes?
It sounds like sitting in full lotus is very fundamental to the practice.
It's our secret, yes.
May I ask how you teach students that have extreme difficulty or impossibility in sitting in full lotus?
The question is, how do I teach my students to get into full lotus? I am not always able to teach them to get into full lotus. It's not always the case. For example, my first student was in his 70s, and he was able to sit with two legs propped up like two waters. And then after a year or so of practice, he's able to get into half lotus, meaning you only cross one leg over. Okay? And he still cannot get into full lotus. But that's besides the point. The full lotus is like a goal. It's like an end goal there, and you go towards it. So the full lotus is that if you're able to get into full lotus, then you're able to make progress a lot quicker. If you're not able to, it's more of a journey where you attempt to get there, and the process of trying to get there is when you grow. So we are not focused on results. We're focused on trying to get there. Okay. So, for example, some of my better students, even more advanced than Master Xianjie here, they don't necessarily sit in full lotus. They sit in half lotus, and they're much higher level. So each person is different. Because the fact that so full lotus is like an expedient, like a skill it means that sets a goal out there and to challenge you to get there. That's all. Does it help? Okay. So how do you measure? Finally, let me close out the question, right? His question. You measure it by concentration power. Okay, it's very clear in whether it's you a Buddhist or non-Buddhist, it doesn't matter. Okay, your concentration power, okay, is expressed in Buddhism in terms of first dhyana, second dhyana, third dhyana. Whether you call it second or first dhyana doesn't matter. For example, I met with non-Buddhist meditation practitioners, like I told you about the Hindus, the gurus. In the Indian ashrams in India, the 8th level of Samadhi. Doesn't matter what you call it, but we call it 8th level of Samadhi. So there's a clear gradations in meditation in terms of concentration power. All right? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So you've mentioned how through progressing through these various levels, it's important to have a teacher to guide you through. Yeah. So I was wondering, is there any way to pursue Chan meditation recreationally on our own? And if so, do you have any recommendations on how to go about doing that?
Absolutely. If you are able to find a teacher, then you progress a lot quicker. Because what is the nature of progress? You are not progressing because you don't know how. You don't know the importance of making progress. Progress is fun. Progress is productivity. Progress is creativity. It's important to you because what is creativity? Is it something so nebulous, so vague that only a select few can have access to? No such thing. Creativity is because you're able to look at it from different perspective. For us, if you practice meditation and you increase the next level of concentration power, aren't you looking at it from different perspective? And I submit to you that when you progress in meditation, and your concentration power increases, your creativity will also increase because you now have a different perspective. Now your brain have more connectivity. Okay, so now in terms of recreationally, Absolutely. As I said in my earlier slide, you can go from time is up. And you can go from worldly pursuits to all the way to enlightenment. You can practice on your own. I prepared a book called Chan Meditation Handbook. I highly recommend you read it. It's in English, and you can read it and you can follow that to practice meditation. And if you have questions, you can call us, you can contact us, and we'll be glad to, either through email or phone call, and we'll be glad to guide you to answer your questions. Now, why is that you're not making progress? Because you don't know how. To go from first dhyana, from zero samadhi, for example, to first dhyana, there's certain things you can do to increase your chances of getting there quicker. Okay, so with the guidance, this is where the Chan training traditionally is a teacher-pupil relationship. So the teacher recognizes where the student is stuck, and he or she devises means to help the student unstuck herself. Okay. Now you can do it with the help of a teacher, or you can do it through the different meditation techniques when you're able, whereby you're able to free yourself through the actual mere fact of practicing meditation. Okay. So, in brief, in answer to your question, I highly recommend you meditate. All of you should meditate. Okay, not necessarily with Chan or Zen, or it doesn't matter where you go. Just meditate because it's good for you. Will give you, restore, balance you, reduce stress, improve your health, and for you who are in the business of creation, of breaking new frontiers. I feel that you need to, in order to be able to consistently do that, okay, for a long, sustained fashion, you need to improve your concentration systematically. You need to improve. Okay. Okay. Thank you all for coming.